You lie awake, staring into the dark, while the world sleeps. But inside your head, a deafening war is raging without end. It is 2 a.m., and your mind is running on a treadmill, replaying ancient conversations and agonizing over words spoken days ago. You build terrifying catastrophes out of problems that do not exist. Your chest is tight, your breathing shallow, fighting an invisible enemy. Overthinking is not preparation. It is a slow, quiet poison. It is a self-inflicted paralysis that steals your power. The present. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics navigated a far more brutal world. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus moved through chaos with terrifying calm. They did not have easier lives. They had a superior architecture. You cannot control external storms, but your mind is sovereign. If you are drowning, you have handed your keys over to fear. Today, we tear down habits and forge your mind into a fortress. These are ruthless protocols for claiming authority over your internal world. Stop being a helpless prisoner to the ghosts of your thoughts. You are bleeding energy into imaginary disasters while life slips away. Join a community of builders who refuse to live in constant fear. Do not skip a single lesson. Every word is a strike of iron. I command my mind. It does not ever command me. Rule 1. Strip the adjectives from the reality. A frozen mountain peak where the air is thin and biting. Snow falls in silence, covering the jagged edges of the earth. You sit before a single candle, watching the orange flame flicker. You hold a piece of cold charcoal, preparing to write the truth. You believe the events of your life cause your deep anxiety. But that is a lie. The event is just raw, neutral data. It is the story you attach that causes your heart to race. Take a vague, late-night email asking for a meeting tomorrow morning. The objective fact is simply that an appointment has been scheduled, but your mind acts as a horror movie director, adding soundtracks. You tell yourself you are a failure, and you will lose everything. You have taken a neutral invite and turned it into a threat. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to look at the world without emotional commentary. Strip the adjectives away to calm your overthinking and restore your peace. You must become a forensic investigator of your own chaotic thoughts. It does not judge the cold, it simply exists within reality. Separate the raw facts from your dramatic and toxic interpretations. When you look at unvarnished reality, you will find it manageable. You do not have to be terrified of the cold facts. Stop letting your imagination write toxic fiction about your survival. I observe the facts. I reject the fiction. I reclaim power. Command your perception, or it will eventually command your life. Rule 2. Amputate the illusion of time travel. A vast, silent desert stretching toward a dead, grey horizon. Sand dunes slowly bury the white ruins of an ancient city. You stand alone, holding a handful of dry, golden sand. Feel the weight of each grain as it slips away forever. Look down at your palms and see only the immediate truth. Your mind is a dangerous traveler, escaping into non-existent timelines. You cast your consciousness backward to marinate in past shame. You project your consciousness forward to tremble at future ghosts. While you wander, your actual life is slipping through your fingers. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Past mistakes are stone, they cannot be rewritten with your blood. The future is a phantom that has not yet even arrived. You must practice the daily amputation of all dead time. The past is a tomb, so let it remain buried deep. When your mind begins to spiral, violently snap your focus back. What is the physical sensation of the task before you now? Slice away the heavy burdens of yesterday and the terrifying tomorrow. You only ever have to survive a single moment at once. You possess exactly enough strength to endure this immediate second. The present is the only territory where you possess any power. Reclaim your kingdom and let the ghosts vanish into the mist. Focus your will, command this moment, and let the rest burn. Let the imaginary disasters fade into the silent, dark abyss. Rule 3. The brutal division of your reality. A massive stone wall stands against a dark, surging tide. Salt spray of 1,000 ancient storms bites your skin. You hold a piece of white flint in your hand. Slowly, you carve a deep, jagged line into the rock. Most anxiety is a tragic misallocation of your finite energy. You are exhausted trying to hold back the ocean. You worry about the economy or the moods of peers. You throw your power at variables where you have zero authority. Epictetus taught that some things are ours and some not. Overthinking is the ego trying to micromanage the entire universe. When panic sets in, freeze and draw that hard line. Ask yourself, do I have absolute control over this outcome? If the answer is no, you must drop it immediately. It is dead weight, dragging you into the dark depths. Train your brain to release outcomes with clinical precision. You control your effort, your integrity, and your response. This is your entire kingdom. Command it with a fierce heart. Stop fighting battles in territories you do not own. The relief is instantaneous, like a heavy chain, snapping. Leave the results to the fates and the indifferent universe. Command your inner citadel and let the external storm rage. I release what I cannot control. I command my mind. Stop bleeding energy into the vast, indifferent grey sea. Your mind is a sovereign territory. Keep it perfectly still. Rule 4. The strategy of sacred non-action. A shadowed stone grotto where the air is thick and cool. A dark pool of murky water sits in the center. You sit perfectly still, watching the surface of the water. When anxiety strikes, your biological impulse is to act instantly. You want to fix things or send a frantic message. But frantic motion is just anxiety wearing a desperate disguise. When you stir a muddy puddle to clean the water, you only make the water darker and the vision cloudier. The Stoic masters understood the lethal effectiveness of doing nothing. When your mind is spinning, step away from the board. Do not trust any thoughts born from a state of panic. Force yourself to sit in the heavy and uncomfortable stillness. Let the mud settle on its own without your interference. The correct path will reveal itself, not through your force. It will appear because you cultivated the required, quiet clarity. When you refuse to act out of urgency, the fog burns. You do not need more motion, you need more stillness. I wait for the mud to settle before I strike. Master the silence, and you will, soon, master the storm. Your stillness is the ultimate weapon against a chaotic world. Rule 5. Sever the hunger for external approval. An abandoned stone amphitheater rests under a vast, silent sky. Sand blows across empty benches where thousands once sat and cheered. You stand alone in the arena where the shadows are long. You close your eyes and feel the cold wind on your face. A massive percentage of your overthinking is not about actual survival. It is about social status and the hunger for the gallery's approval. You overanalyze every sentence, terrified of appearing foolish to distant strangers. Your mind is a hamster wheel, calculating how to secure the crowd. Marcus Aurelius found this a profound and tragic irony of life. We love ourselves more than others, yet value their opinions more. To calm your mind, you must fire the imaginary jury today. Realize the people you fear are consumed by their own insecurities. They are not thinking of you, they are busy overthinking themselves. When you stop outsourcing your self-worth, a heavy silence finally falls. It is the silence of true freedom, the silence of a sovereign. Let them judge you. Let them misunderstand your sacred inner path. Treat their fleeting applause and mockery as the same meaningless noise. My worth does not require their hollow and temporary applause. You are the judge, the jury, and the only authority here. Reclaim your internal crown and let the gallery turn to dust. Rule 6. The protocol of premeditated catastrophe. Deep within stone catacombs, where the air is stale and heavy, torches cast long shadows against the cold and damp walls. You walk toward the deepest corner where your greatest fear resides. Instead of running away, you sit and stare it dead in the eyes. The world tells you to be positive, but Stoics used a darker weapon. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, is your psychological shield. Forcefully visualize the absolute worst-case scenario of your failing life. Imagine the project collapses, your wealth vanishes, and you lose everything. Look at the broken wreckage and ask yourself, what happens then? You realize you are still breathing, and your moral character is intact. You realize your loved ones remain, and you possess the intelligence to rebuild. By accepting the nightmare in advance, you destroy the unknown's power. The monster is stripped of its shadow and becomes just a fact. You discover that even the nightmare is survivable by your own will. The unknown no longer has teeth to bite into your peace. I have already survived the worst, so the world cannot break me. You walk out of the dark with a heart of tempered iron. The shadow has lost its weight, and the morning finally breaks. Rule 7. Transmute anxiety into physical execution. An anvil of black granite stands alone on a windswept cliff. Rain hammers the stone, washing away the dust of stagnant thoughts. Overthinking is trapped energy, a power that has nowhere to go. It turns inward and begins to attack your own psychological foundation. You sit perfectly still while your brain runs a frantic marathon. This misalignment between body and mind creates the suffocating pressure. The ultimate cure for a hyperactive mind is an exhausted body. The Stoics were men of action, duty, and intense physical discipline. Brutally interrupt the cycle with immediate and aggressive physical execution now. You cannot outthink an overthinking mind. You must simply outact it. Drop to the cold floor and demand 50 push-ups from yourself. Drag your consciousness out of the clouds and back to reality. Slam your focus into the physical world where you possess power. Action is the great cleanser. It burns the static of anxiety. I master my body to reclaim the sovereign throne of mind. The noise dies when the muscles burn and the breath clears. You are no longer a prisoner, you are a force of nature. Execute your duty and let the mental storms starve to death. The architecture of your new mind is finally complete. The 7 pillars stand as a testament to your refusal to be a victim of your own thoughts. You have dismantled the cage of your own construction, piece by piece. But remember, a fortress is only as strong as the sentry standing at the gate. Stoicism is not a theory for the library. It is a practice of constant daily war. The world will continue to be chaotic, and the crowd will always remain loud. The ghosts of the past will still try to whisper to you in the dark, but they no longer possess the keys to your sacred internal kingdom. You now have the tools to amputate the dead time and sever the hollow approval. You have the protocol to face the catastrophe and remain standing. Do not let these rules become dust on a shelf of forgotten ideas. Carry them in your blood and execute them with every single breath you take. When the noise returns, return to the cold silence of the stone. When the pressure builds, return to the heat of physical action. The battle with overthinking is won by the person who refuses to live in the mind. Step out of the shadows of thought and into the blinding light of reality. You are the architect. You are the sovereign. You are finally free. Go now and build a life worthy of the peace you have earned. The fortress is yours. Command it.